unemployment numbers are actually looking pretty good. Considering we were today, I think it was 1.14 versus a 1.4 million. The only issue that I have with that is that you still have 20 plus million people who are unemployed right now, who are on that roll. And then you have a possible 30 to 50 million other people who are not falling into any category, not getting unemployment. So, I have a little bit of an issue with these numbers, but overall, it is saying that the recovery might be starting to take place slowly but surely. This is something that I said would be dragged over a year to 2 years. Is this the beginning of it? Could be the beginning of it. We don't know at this point. But what I'm thinking, as this solution gets put together and the second stimulus package gets done, we're going to see, slowly but surely, people using that money again and propping up the economy, which I think is important. We have to just remember that this package isn't to enrich people. It's to sustain them and to help sustain the economy. There are no gifts being given here. There's a lot of people say, well, it's a disincentive to work. Depending where you live, it's a life raft, just to help you stay afloat. So you have to keep that in mind. About the businesses, what I think, in all honesty, 20 to 30% of small to mid-sized businesses might be going away. They may not come back, or if they come back in another form. And I don't say that lightly. The tech sector has been so favored for so long, and that other sectors, it's kind of like when the pandemic started and companies like Clorox were making a big jump in their securities. It's the same thing. When we go into other sectors and, a vaccine is in place and it's working well, and we're talking less and less about people losing their lives to this virus, that's when you're going to start seeing that shift. I don't see that shift at the end of the year. I can be wrong, but I don't see that shift at the end of this year. They need more time to test these vaccines and to make sure that we're not going to further a problem, because there's a lot behind a vaccine. I mean, what is a vaccine? You're taking a virus, in a controlled atmosphere and administer them to a controlled group. You don't want to mess this up, because you could create another strain of the virus through doing this the wrong way. Hopefully it's done where it's done in a proper way, and when it's time to make a change, no bell is rung when I tell you, hey, come on in, these other stocks are fine. You got to take a chance, you got to take a risk, and don't be afraid of that. If you want to take a percentage of your money and allocate it to another area there, that's cool. Don't bet the farm on it, is what I'm saying. Take calculated risk, because in the end, no matter what the sector you're in, unless you're in some sector where it's just not happening right now and it's not coming back for a while, then that's when you're going to have more issues in your money. So for me, I say, don't be afraid to take that little calculated risk. I just would not bet the farm on it.
Okay.
I have been hearing for the last 25 years that gold was going to take over everything. The gold bugs love talking about how gold this, gold that, gold here, everywhere, and a gold. But honestly, when it comes to gold, it's another asset class. It's a separate class by itself. And yes, it has done very well in times where the market has gone down. The unusual part, as you mentioned, is that as the market has been holding its own and doing well, gold has been holding its own and doing well as well. And it's very important to note, because if you have a bit of gold, I tell people, don't put more than 10% into gold right now, unless you have a ton of jewelry sitting in your closet, and then you're not planning on melting it down any soon. That's a different story. What I think is that, yeah, you want to have some part of it. Would I go into it now? I'm a little leery of it. I wouldn't take a big bet on it. I might go with maybe 1 or 2% of a portfolio right now into gold, but I'm not jumping in right now. And I could be wrong, and I have been wrong about gold in the past in terms of timing. What I've not been wrong about has been that the market is still taking off, and some returns in the market have destroyed the performance of gold. So even though gold has done really well, to a point, there are some characteristics of that singular commodity that against the broad market, it doesn't do as well. And it's not even close. Now let's talk about the dollar. The dollar is kind of cool, where, we're seeing that it's, versus other currencies, it's at all-time lows. I simply find this to be the fact that there is uncertainty with our strategy against this virus. And I think that once everything starts getting into place, the story's still being written. So I see the dollar coming back, but it's still going to be some time before that happens. I mean, it could turn around next month for all we know. But, understand, what are the forces at play? We have the virus. We have markets acting like, what virus? It's priced in. Markets are doing, and they don't care what anybody else is doing. But the currency markets, and this is something I used to watch very closely for many years. I don't do it as often now, but the currency markets always seem to go against what the markets are doing or what gold is doing. You are strong for so long. Could it be a correction, and then on its way back up, hitting different resistance points, like we say in technical terms? Or is this indicative of a longer term trend, and are we going to have to face a new reality here about the dollar? I don't think so. I really believe that the dollar will make a turnaround. It will take some time. I'm looking at anywhere between 3 to 6 months before we start to see it come around. But due to its volatile nature, the currencies in general, you could see that turn around in a month. You just don't know, and there are a lot of forces at play. So stay tuned.